It's Good Friday morning.
Yeah, it's a good Friday. It's a good Friday morning. And any day as you get older, they say any day that you can put your 2 feet on the ground is a plus day as you get older. But you know what? Here we are. We're doing great. I think we're reaching a good amount of people, and we want to keep doing that. And we're gonna strive and keep to our commitment of helping.
Yeah, so we've been coming to you live now for 2 weeks every morning. And over the last 48 hours, Dave and I have gotten many calls and texts and emails from many of you across the country thanking us for doing this. So we were happy to do it every morning as long as we need to help people stay focused, stay positive, share good information. A lot of real estate agents along with business owners are watching us. So I want to thank everyone for that. Today's actually very exciting day, Dave. Do you know why? We have our first sponsor of our show.
Holy crap. That's amazing. We have a sponsor for the show. That's great.
I want to shout out to the World of Goodies. It's a candy and sweet shop located in Bergen County. They will ship direct to you anything you want that they have in the store. You can call them directly. You can go on their website. But reach out. Now everyone wants a little candy, a little bit sweets. I know everyone's like, oh, I'm on a diet or I can't eat too much because I'm staying home all day. But he has all types of dried fruits, nuts, chocolate-covered nuts, candies by the pound, packaged, stuff for kids. He has a quarantine, container gift you can send to other people. So definitely reach out to him. Phone number's on bottom here, worldofgoodies.com. Check it out.
That's amazing. That's great because, as you said, you know what? It's whether you're not worried about food right now or you are, this is something not only for now, but it's for later too.
Yes.
I don't know how many of you out there have decided that this is time to get into shape, or this is time to stop eating, or this is time to take care of your body, or not. Personally, I started something prior to this, and it's going pretty well. I'm down a few pounds, so. It's called commitment, and it adds on to our commitment to everybody that we're talking to today.
Yes. So if you like our shows, please share them on all your social media, on different groups that you're part of. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any topics you want us to discuss. We're happy to be here for you guys and continue doing what we do every day. So with that, Dave, you want to introduce our special guest for today?
Sure. I'd like to introduce our guest. Her name is Kelly Mignatea. She is from Canada, and she's a emotional intelligence trainer, has a training company just for that. She's certified at the Empowerment Partnership, and I know I'm going to miss a few of these things, but she's a former MAPS coach, and she also works with real estate groups and teams as their COO, and has a lot of great stuff. But Kelly, you were recently on my broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, which, by the way, is on today at 11 a.m. Plug. We have Tim Harris coming on, but we talked about a lot of different things. Tell us about what's going on in your world and how it might be able to help the people that are watching this today.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on today. It's absolutely an honor. It's interesting. I think as a society, what's going on is really connecting us at a deeper level. And, a lot of us on the outside were watching how things were happening and being a resource, and then eventually found myself on the inside of the bubble. My family and I have 2 kids, and my husband, we are under mandatory quarantine right now because we're waiting test results. Something that you didn't think would happen happened. And, it's been an experience because, you're surrounded by great people, and you have your circle of friends and people that you can rely on. And yet in times like this, we have discovered that we have such a massive community around us that are willing to help and support and provide anything we need. And as a human, that is just amazing to experience, and also then in turn give back to other people, right? Which is why I'm so adamant, even though, our health is compromised right now, coming on things like this just to give back which is huge. And up here, just like down there, the people are connecting with each other. They're supporting each other. I'm so happy to see that you guys are going every single morning, being that voice of calm for everyone. It's truly amazing.
Thanks so much for that. Yeah, there's just so many things going on, and I just want to repeat what Marc said earlier: is please share this to other places where you think it can help. If you have personal pages or groups that you work with, please share it there. And also, we have comments which we will read as we move along, or even questions you'd like to ask. Please do that as well, and also likes, loves, all that kind of fun stuff. But Kelly, the thing that's going on here is we're seeing an opportunity here for a lot of people to connect with people they maybe haven't connected with in a long time. And we've talked about that one of the things that I think that we have missed over time maybe is that skill set that we might be missing to connect at a human level in our business. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. We always know in a shifted market, skill set gets exposed. And this one's very specific because all of us are social distancing, which, is funny with language, right? Because language means everything. And really what we're talking about is physical distancing, not social distancing, right? And there's some of us that are taking that to heart and isolating ourselves to the point where we're not communicating or connecting with people. And right now is the perfect time to do that. And when we're in this position where it's starting to expose skill sets, a lot of it is around the emotional intelligence, being able to connect with people, being able to manage your own emotions and what you're feeling, and then the emotions of others. Right. And all of us right now, we're reaching out to our people, we're reaching out to our databases, and it's forcing us to get out of our comfort zone and connect at a human level with people. Right? The conversations we had 3 weeks ago aren't as relevant anymore. And, in talking to a lot of clients and a lot of businesses, what I'm hearing is, I'm finding those conversations difficult because they don't see things the way I do. Or, at the end of the day, I'm feeling depleted and in a negative space because I'm taking on everything that other people are feeling.
Could you share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah. So, when it comes to emotional intelligence, first thing we got to do is understand and strategize around how we manage our own emotions, right? You can't give what you don't have. And the concept of being a resource for somebody and being a support structure for somebody, you first have to have that here.
Right.
And create a clear space for that. And then when you're having conversations with people who are emotionally tilted right now, right? A lot of them very tilted. You become the person that creates the space for them to let go of their emotions. And a lot of times we come in sympathetic versus empathetic. Empathetic is emotional intelligence. Sympathetic is not. And when you become sympathetic, you put yourself in that person's position and emotionally connect to it, and therefore take on the results of that emotional connection. Right. And that doesn't serve the person you're talking to or you. No. So the skill set of being empathetic, understanding their situation, giving them a space to work through that, but not take it on, is a skill set. And all of us are in positions now where we're being forced to learn that in a huge way. And that's just one piece of that communication.
I get that 100%. We got a couple people coming on. I want to thank Jake T for coming on. Love this. Britt Sikora saying, Coach Kelly. Michael Lawrence saying, shifted markets highlight skill set. Absolutely true. And then Phil Stein, emotional intelligence, right on. So thank you guys for making those comments and keep them coming. So some of the issues that some of the people you're talking to are having, if you can just give us a couple of those, because I'm sure other people are having them and they think they might be alone.
Yeah. So, I have some clients that are massive cold callers, right, in real estate. And when you think about it at the core, cold calling doesn't necessarily require a massive skill set in emotional connection, right? Like you're dialing, you're talking to people you've never met. There's no expectation of a foundational relationship there. And yet now that's a requirement, right? We're all asking our people to talk to their databases, to talk to their affiliates and vendors, to be a resource and come from contribution. So, when we don't have that foundation, when we've created a business that wasn't relationship based, and now we're being forced into a relationship based conversation, what we're finding is that, we don't know what to say. How do we show up in that conversation and also be authentic? Right. So
the hardest thing for a lot of agents to do is actually get on the phone and create that connection with someone in the first 3 to 5 seconds of the call. Right. Because when you meet someone, you shake their hand, you have the eye contact. But now picking up the phone and making the call, what do you say to someone in order to make that connection?
Yeah. Yeah. And you've trained yourself to create that business conversation, right? Like you've worked those scripts for so many years that it's just natural for you to be that way. Right. And those scripts, they don't necessarily create the same result now. Right. We're going into that with the intention of seeing how people are. What resources or challenges are they having? What could we connect them to? Right. To help them survive and thrive in this market. Mm-hmm. And that's very difficult for many agents. So, in coaching, we're working through different language patterns and scripts that will help them still be authentic in the situation, mm-hmm. and yet learn the skill set of rapport building, right, in those first 5 seconds. Right. And understanding that, the database that they've been accumulating with all those cold calls that they've never followed up with, mm-hmm. right? Because that requires a relationship. Now going back and creating systems and time blocks around touching those people. And even if they haven't spoken to them in 2 years, what does that conversation look like? Right. And committing to that.
Yeah, I think that simple script is, hey, I'm so sorry I haven't been in touch for a long time. I wanted to check in, see how you're doing. That's the script.
I know.
That's the script, and people, it's either an apology or what's going on. That's what it is, and it's really simple. But we seem to try to complicate things when we're unaware or we're just stuck in a certain row, right? So mm-hmm. I actually I've been reaching out to a lot of people. A gentleman reached out to me, responding to some of my stuff, who is a cold caller. That's all he does. I mean, he is such a cold caller that he doesn't even sound like he's human when he's doing it. Mm-hmm. And he actually came to me and I said, I said to him, I said, Mike, I think you're getting to be human now, because he actually was reaching out like we were just talking. And that's why I reached out to him, because I wanted to see how he was doing. But we're seeing that a lot of people do have the ability and can do it,
Yeah. I mean, it's, you say we overcomplicate things. I think as a race, we overcomplicate things like it's an Olympic sport, right? True. So, and then the other aspect of it is, once you get past that spot where you start to become comfortable reaching out to people, then it's the aspect or fear of, well, what if they ask me for something that I don't have an answer to? Right? The toolbox of resources. Because, there's this necessity. If I'm going to ask somebody how they are and what their challenges are, I want to be able to have something to fix it. Right? Because a lot of us are fixers. So, there's there's that aspect also, right? So it's a conversation around, okay, well, what could you create in your toolbox? Have you reached out to your vendors and affiliates to find out what they're doing for you to connect those two together, right? Because it's hard to prescribe when A, you don't know the symptoms, and B, you don't have a toolbox of things that you can connect and pull from.
Right.
So there's that aspect that we're working on as well, which is also great, because yes, we're reaching out to our databases, but this is a community thing, right? This is a human thing. So reaching out to those businesses you've never spoken to, reaching out to the ones that you have, and creating those situations of connection are really huge right now.
Yeah, I get that.
So how do people stay focused on when making these calls and doing what they're doing? What is the trick to being able to, staying positive, staying focused, and be able to get through it all?
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, you can't give what you don't have, right? Yeah. And right now, a lot of us are dealing with the concept of time, mm-hmm. right? Most of us have built a routine and structure on how we move through our time. And a lot of that is through what we choose to do as business, right? And some of us identify with what we do as business.
Mm-hmm.
So when that's been interrupted, we're finding we have more time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we don't know what to do with it. So that concept of time blocking really becomes integral in respects to me time,
Mm-hmm.
energy time. What are you doing throughout the day for energy replenishment? And is that in your schedule? Most of us will do it in the morning before we start the day. But what we fail to realize is we don't have the things throughout the day that we used to have that gives us energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we're getting depleted a lot quicker. So creating a new schedule based on what is right now is important.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of focusing on how do you get back your old schedule, the way things used to be, getting back on track, focus on what things are right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then recognize where your moments need to be. And that will assist you in getting commitment in what you choose to time block.
Right.
Right. And, accountability hasn't gone away. Just because we can't be face to face doesn't mean that you can't invite accountability into your world so that you stay on track for what you can do and control throughout the day.
Right. I think that's one of the biggest challenges a lot of real estate agents have is accountability. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, coach agents around the country. And the biggest challenge I find, and I think Dave agrees with this, is that the agents aren't accountable to anybody until we come into the picture, and then they're accountable to us. And, for the few weeks or months that we're coaching them or training them, we're keeping them accountable. But the question is, can they keep themselves accountable long term? Right? How do they continue doing that?
Well, if you have an accountability issue to begin with, this could make it a little bit more difficult. Work with clients. Even last night, with the stuff I do, they have certain things they have to accomplish one day at a time.
Right.
And if you're not doing that, then you really shouldn't be asking me questions because you don't know what the issue can be.
Right.
It's like accountability. If you're not doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? I mean, this is an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even in the aspects of food, right? I mean, in a way, our time block and our structure throughout the day held us somewhat accountable to our eating structure.
Right.
Yeah.
We knew there were certain points where we were going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And for some of us that are workaholics, right, those got spread out and there was no snacks. Now we have access to food at a whole different level. And, I don't know if you're seeing the posts. I definitely am. Hey, gain 9 pounds this week, gain 12 pounds this week, right? Like it's, there's jokes going around about it. And yet it's
Corona 15,
the ease of access is
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because you're right. You're sitting in your house with the kitchen 3 steps away, right? Mm-hmm. Food there. You're gonna go munch on a snack, and instead of focused on work, you're like, oh, I'm hungry now, but you're not really hungry. You're just not focused on what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
exactly, and it's a distraction, right? It's a real big distraction. I think one of the things I want to get back to one thing you said, and this is so true, and honestly, I'm going to tell you that I am going to use it continuously. You said it's not social distancing, it's physical distancing. And that's a disconnect, if you ask me. Would that be correct, calling it a disconnect?
It is, yes, because the label we use dictates the action we take. And that's why language is so important. And the social distancing unconsciously for many people is causing them to believe that means we do not connect. And we're starting to see people that are, becoming depressed and disconnected from things that give them energy because they feel like that's how it needs to be because of that word. Right.
So I'm going to be doing a live on that later on today. You just gave me some great content, and of course I will always mention you as I do with everything else I do with people that have given me ideas and stuff. But I think people need to understand. I mean, let's talk about outside the world of real estate. I think people need to understand that the person that you're social or physical distancing from is not your enemy. They're just as afraid of whatever as you are. And, don't look at them like, ooh, who knows? I mean, this is it's all new territory.
It is, it's an opportunity to reconnect at a human level. And I'm really excited about it in the sense of when we come out of this, the way that we connect and communicate is going to be very different. And, for years I've been saying that there's a gap in our ability to connect with people.
Right.
And part of that was because of technology, and we were using it to hide behind, right? Instead of connecting, we were using it just to communicate. And now we're forced to bring the two of them together, right? And learn how to connect at a human level through technology, which is exciting for me as a coach, because then it opens up the possibility to do that at a deeper level, and also removes the excuses behind not stepping into that.
Right. I think if real estate agents are looking to build a business as they go forward, they have to really think about that word commitment. And when they commit, they're going to get the courage, just like you did before. It's just a different approach. It's the human connection that we were missing before, because we had technology to hide behind. Let me ask you a question. Is this a time for people that aren't using video to move forward, using video text and video messaging? Would that be better than the phone call?
I think it's a mixture of both, right? I've always said for years that video could be utilized and leveraged a lot better. There's an ability to see the body language, right? Which we know is 55% of communication. And when we send videos out through to our databases, it allows them to connect to you at a higher level. It allows it to put a face to the name, and it brings a certain sense of authenticity and validity to what you're saying. As we move forward, I don't think that phone calls are going to go away, because we all have our unique way of communicating, right?
Right.
People know to text me versus calling me, right? Because I'll respond to that quicker. And if you send me an email, if there's a video in it, I'll spend time there to watch the video versus reading all the blurb underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And yet other people communicate differently. It'll now become normal part of their business, at least the ones that are going to thrive in this market anyways.
Right. So like anything else, there's going to be three types of people: ones with the head in the sand, ones that are going to keep doing things the same way, and the ones that are going to make the change and actually thrive more than they probably would have before. I mean, as I said, I keep saying this is an opportunity. It's made me, there's an old expression, put your nose to the grindstone, something like that. Never understood it, but I'm showing my age, I know. Learning to be empathetic rather than just sympathetic is something you said you did the other way, but I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we're all in a heightened emotional state right now, whether we recognize it or not. So creating those little distinctions between how we see things will allow us to keep and increase our internal energy, which then allows you to do what you're looking to do anyways, which is give back.
Right.
Right? All of us in some level are looking to give back.
Very, very true. We're all looking to give back. We're all looking to help one another. Right. That's really the core of a lot of us and what we're doing here. So it's about staying that path and staying focused on what you want to be doing, and not getting distracted by all the other craziness that's going on around us, whether it be because we're in our homes and all the food's around, or whether it be because we're watching the news.
But they are. You have to look at them in context, because the way they're being shouted out to us is sensational and not in context. So I just want to throw that out there. It's a little bit different than what we're talking about.
No, I mean, it's very true, right? And I think that's where a lot of our power lies, right? We can be the voice that disseminates the information to look at what's most relevant. And